everybody. Today I'm going to talk to you about dressing, the actual act of dressing, putting on clothing, what you do every morning and undo every night. I think the concept of fashion sometimes seems a bit exclusive for some people. You're either in, you're a fashionista, you love it, or you're out, and that world seems very far away. So what I'm going to be talking to you about is kind of my fashion evolution personally. So something that I found was lacking earlier on in life and how I brought specialness into the everyday act of dressing. So as a teenager, I was one of those girls that would flip through fashion magazines and just lust after that Versace coat or that Dior couture gown. But I never, ever even conceived that I would own these things. I just took it for granted that, of course, I'm going to wish for these things and want these things, but I'm not going to actually own them until I can make enough money to finally buy these things. I didn't realize at the time that I was living in this world that was polarized by the unattainable and the disposable. The disposable in a sense of course, there's all those cheap mass fashion brands. And I mean, we all go to them all the time, like H&M or polyester leggings from Zara, these kind of filler items that you buy one day and you love today and then you throw away tomorrow. And then on the other hand, these things that you just idolize and you think, oh, one day, I'm going to get that and I'll love it. One day I'll rationalize spending 3 months' salary on a bag or whatever it is, but not today. So anyways, what happens when you kind of accept this polar fashion world is you kind of have to reduce yourself if you're not yet at a level where you can spend for these luxury, desirable items to things that are cheap, that are commodities that everybody else wears. You might love it, and then you see someone else walking down the street and they're wearing the exact same thing. And how does that make you feel? It makes you feel a bit anonymous, obviously. So it wasn't until I bought my first luxury item that I realized something was missing in this whole fashion fairy tale. I expected to feel like I had stepped up into the big leagues of fashion and suddenly, this was for real. But instead, in a way, it felt like I'd passed the disposable kind of, everyday commodity items for a kind of another fancier commodity item. There wasn't an increase in identity of meanness, of this is so special. It was more a trade-off for adopting a branding or an identity that these luxury labels, which I do love as well, but that these luxury labels were, trying to imprint on me. And then there's this old saying, obviously, in the fashion world, or most of you have heard of it, where don't let the fashion wear you, you wear the fashion. An obvious example is, say, someone who loves these pair of crazy 6-inch heels, but they're absolutely impossible to walk in. And she kind of stumbles down the road and looks ridiculous. Obviously, the shoes are wearing her, and she's not wearing the shoes. So the whole belief and the whole idea is, if you are as charismatic and solid and you have lots of character, you're going to wear your items. They're not going to wear you. But when it comes to really branded items, I'd beg to differ. I think it's sometimes impossible to not lose a bit of your soul, not to sound too dramatic, but when you're competing with, a label on your shoulder. Just to illustrate this point, just imagine the most charismatic, just magnetic woman that you've ever seen. Whether it was in film or photos or whatever. I'm thinking of Elizabeth Taylor. So, just think of her and she's smiling and she's laughing and she's effortless and you're just wowed. And then picture her wearing a bag that has, a big luxury logo on it. To me, it becomes impossible to extract, her from the logo and its implications. And I mean, it makes sense because they've put millions and millions and millions of dollars into marketing this branding, this concept, this identity that people are buying into. And a lot of people obviously do buy into it, and that's why luxury brands are so successful. and the quality and obviously nice design. But it's just, I find it a bit of a dilemma that, you buy these things, and at the same time, you have to kind of adopt what the brand's identity is telling you to adopt. I think of it as a zero-sum game. There's you, there's your personality, your character that you want to shine, and then there's the brands that you show to the world. And then there's their identity and their character and what they're trying to tell the world as well. And I don't see it as, you maintain your 100% and then there's an additional 10% added. It takes away something special. That's on the outside, but I think it comes to the inside too. When you accept the idea of, not just amplifying the inner you and what that means and dressing that and having a special moment with your fashion in that regard, I think you kind of, in a way, sell bits of your soul. It was in this point of my fashion evolution when I kind of realized that, this fashion fairy tale wasn't as wonderful as I thought it would be, that I took an interest in my mom's old clothes. So my mom has this silly habit of she keeps 2 seasons of clothing and they never change. Like, she never buys new clothes, she never throws them out. So she packs away her winter clothes for the summer and her summer clothes for the winter. And she's not into fashion at all. She just buys nice quality things that she likes, and that's that. So it was a cozy autumn day in Vancouver, where I'm from, and I came upon my mom doing her usual kind of unpacking and packing. And this year, she decided to bring out 2 boxes, these 2 old boxes that she hadn't pulled out in years. And she didn't even really know what was inside, but there was clothing or fashion or something going on. So I was quite intrigued. So we opened up these boxes together on our bedroom bed, and it was really amazing. We found a pair of cream leather pumps that she had worn on the first date with my dad, and a box of little leather waist belts that were just in pristine condition, and they were just so nicely made and would cost luxury prices today. And there was a tailored tweed blazer from the 70s that she had gotten done in Canada. And everything had a story, and everything was just so interesting. And she didn't spend much on it, but it was well made, and it was so her. There was this scarlet wool coat in particular that meant a lot to me. It was just gorgeous, and I tried it on, and it fit perfectly. And she told me the story of the coat and how she come to go get it. And I realized at that moment, like looking in the mirror and wearing my mom's old coat, that this was it. This was the big fashion legs. Learning how to dress in things that you love and that have a real significance to you and that have a story behind it. I mean, that's what it's all about. So after this, I kind of went, into my own wardrobe and started reassessing the things that really added to my life, that I loved to wear for me and not just, to show off this or that. Things that I thought really, they made me happy. I mean, all of us wear clothes every day, all the time. And sometimes I think because the fashion world is so polarized, is it cheap mass or luxury, and it's often unattainable, that we kind of just settle into these habits or these routines or the classics or whatever, and we forget that clothing and dressing is not just for like fashionistas. It's for everybody. Everyone does it, and it can actually, if you dress in a way that's significant to you and it's meaningful, it can really actually add to the quality of your life. So what I did and what I found in my wardrobe were a few items that I loved. There were, some gifts from friends, some stuff I picked up in a leather market in Florence or in a little side street of Bali. And then I started thinking, you know what? I'm going to compile lists of top independent designers meeting small designers. Small, they have a story. They're actually, making the things themselves, craftsmen. I'm going to compile lists of the top independent designers in all the main Asian markets, because I was based in Singapore at the time. And then I'm going to fly out, and I'm going to see their products, and I'm going to meet them, and let's see what happens. So that's what I did. And I would fly out. I flew all across Asia, and it was amazing because my research was done online, and what I actually found when I was on the ground was that a lot of these places you have to hear about by word of mouth, or a friend's friend knows, or just go to a certain area that, say, has a long history and making beautiful cheong sam, and then kind of search around on the ground there. And I found that, oops, I forgot to change these. So what I found was that a lot of the most amazing things that I found were actually not easily accessible. You couldn't find them online. They don't have an online store. People don't really talk about it. I mean, they're very small. It reminds me actually of this. There's a boutique actually in Hong Kong that I found called Fang Projects. And I found it, I mean, in a weird kind of cobblestone alley, side alley, through a weird archway and through a humble door. And I walked in, and I met the designer right away. I mean, she was the one there that was selling her clothing. And it was amazing. We got into this engaging conversation of why she did what she did, and where she sources her vintage fabrics from. They're very exclusive. She can only make, 3 dresses from each roll. And it was very interesting. One of my most memorable designer meetings so far was when I was in Bangkok. And this meeting, it actually stays really close to my heart. I was late for the meeting, and I was a bit frustrated because I don't know if any of you have tried to find your way around Thailand, but in some areas of Bangkok, I mean, just like the numbers are not right, or all the streets are the same name. And so anyways, I was irritable, I was panting, I was in freaking big, tall heels. Finally, I find this big wooden door, and like, knock, knock, knock. And the door opens, and I was face to face with one of the healthiest faces I'd ever seen. He just glowed. And then he led me into his kind of seating area, and we were sitting on opposite little beanbag chairs. And he passes me his lookbook, so I'm flipping through all his new stuff of the season and whatever. And whenever I'd pause on a certain page, or I'd ooh, or I'd ah, and I was just amazed, instantly he'd pull the thing and stick it in my lap, and then I'd look at it, and we'd admire the seaming, and we'd talk about it. So anyways, we got to talking, and I asked him, so you are so exclusive. So few people know about you, but your stuff is so amazing. Like, why do you stay so small? And you have an amazing degree at one of the world's best design universities. I mean, why don't you go for, work for a big established label and work your way up over the years, And there was one movement that he did that always sticks in my mind that just made my questions obsolete. He picked up one of his dresses, and he was hanging it, and he was talking to me at the same time. But just the way he touched his fabric, it was like the way a father would handle his own child. There was just this tender familiarity and this easy skill and this love that was impossible to conceal. And that really answered it for me. He just wanted to be a craftsman. He just wanted to have his vision realized and to be able to share it with, even if it's a small group, and it's purposely small, a small group of people that really appreciated it and wanted to know the story and wanted to, wear his kind of fashion. I left that meeting, and it was a really meaningful time for me. I was kind of in ecstasy because I was thinking about all these independent designers and about him in particular, and about the love they have for what they do. And I was thinking, God, I mean, this stuff is much more affordable than unattainable luxury. And there's still such a quality proposition there. I mean, it's just still so well made, and the materials are well sourced. And obviously you have to be careful and it has to be well curated. But it's just so much effort goes into making so little, and it's actually accessible to a regular Joe. You don't need to save up months and months of salary to get these things. And at the end of the day, when you actually get it and you try it on and you're wearing it, you don't have to put on some other brand's identity and let that outshine your own soul. It's the product itself that you can admire and that adds to your day. So today, I've founded Nosum.com. It's an online store that promotes independent fashion. And we've gathered designers from all over the world, mostly in Asia, since I've been based in Asia, and it's been easier that way. But all these designers have something in common. I mean, there's something for everybody. I don't let my own style, which can be quite crazy, dictate what other people would want to wear, obviously. So, things might be minimalist or gothic or classic, but all the products have something is in common, which I really appreciate, which is an affordable price range, first of all. I don't think you have to wait. You shouldn't have to wait for so long to buy things that you just love and to have that quality in your everyday life. Also, they're made by designers that are actually apparent in every single process of the craft, from the design to the manufacturing, to everything about it. And it's rare. That's the main thing. It's rare, it's exclusive, it has a story. There's this designer in Singapore, which I love, and he only makes each style, this is including all sizes, in 12 quantities. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, if you think of all of the effort that comes into making the design, choosing the fabric, doing the design work, making the print, making it perfect, all of that. 12 women in the world are going to wear that dress. I find that wonderful. It's really, really interesting. So basically, this is what I do now. I have found through this fashion evolution of mine a way that I think is really interesting to bring more significance into your everyday dressing. And it doesn't need to be mass commodity, cheap stuff that you literally will throw away in 3 months and don't care about. Because there's repercussions to that. It's not just cheap clothing. It's really for everybody. It's stuff you literally wear and you see throughout the day on your body. And it can either just be dormant and it doesn't add anything or take away, or it can really make you feel special. So yeah, that's all. Thank you.